Hello, everyone, and welcome to press coverage. If you are listening to this, I'm Ian, and I'm with my co-host Adam. We're just two guys that like talking about sports and just talking about things in general. And we want to start a podcast that we think we can be somewhat entertaining, and we enjoy talking to each other. We live on opposite sides of the country. I live in Seattle. He lives in Florida, and so we've been best friends since college. So we don't really get to talk that much. So we thought it was a better way to do it than start a podcast. So I'll go ahead and let Adam introduce himself. If you want to go ahead, Adam.
My name's Adam Ruth. I'm 24 years old from Cape Coral, Florida. Big sports fan. Have a slight bias to the Miami Dolphins, but not a true fan of them right now. But overall, I just love watching sports, just hang out with friends, and have a good time.
Okay. My name's Ian. I live out in Seattle now. I just turned 25. Uh, we just I just like to talk about sports. I have a huge bias towards the Dolphins, although that doesn't make me biased in my opinion about them. It probably makes it the opposite, where when I talk about them, I hate them more than normal. So I'm a big football fan. I've gotten sick of basketball. Don't ever talk to me about baseball. Golf is not even a sport. So, but this podcast is just gonna be us talking about sports and just kind of whatever comes up. We think we have some interesting conversations. Maybe if people actually start listening to this, we can get some other people on here that we know. Our one friend Mike is pretty interesting to have conversations with. But we just wanted to start a podcast and see if anyone. We like to talk about interesting stuff that we'll try and stay away from politics, but whether that ranges from politics or pop music or sports to whatever. So we just wanted to start this and see how it goes. So without further ado, Adam, what do you think of the Miami Dolphins?
You sure you want me to start on this
All right,
one?
let me change that. Who is more at fault for the disaster in Miami? Adam Gase or Ryan Tannehill?
I'm full on blaming Adam Gase
Oh
for the
my
responsibility
gosh.
of a 3-2 record now, which should be an 0-5 record. But thankfully, they managed to beat three teams that are actually worse than them. But Adam Gase,
I'd argue Tennessee is better than them currently.
right now, I'll give you that. Tennessee has proved that even though they did lose to Buffalo, so they can't really say much there.
The first game of the season was such a weird game. You can't really put that on anyone, right? If the Dolphins lost that game, you can't really yell at them because it was so weird. So.
But I have to blame Adam Gase. I'm not a fan of his play calling. I know, but people are blaming Pat Shermer for being a regular offense coordinator as a head coach, and I see Adam Gase the same way. I don't think he should be a head coach. I have seen no discipline from the defense, and from my standpoint, his offensive play calling is very subpar. Uh, I'm not a fan of Ryan Tannehill. I think he's one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL currently. However, Adam Gase puts him in terrible situations based on his play calling. Uh, screens. That's Adam Gase's MO. If there's a penalty on the drive, he gives up on the drive. It's
Yeah,
a second and 20. It's a draw. It's a screen and a punt. Like the drive is over. You might as well just give up on the drive.
Okay.
I just have no faith in Adam Gase.
Okay,
And
I'll
that's
give you
just
this.
my
I'll
personal
give you this.
opinion.
I agree. Adam Gase's play calling is about you know, as bad as Katy Perry looks right now with her short hair.
Ooh,
Okay, there's that.
ew.
It's that bad. Besides that, it's Ryan Tannehill's fault. Let's be real. The guy's 30 years old. He's been a quarterback for 6, 7 years now in the NFL. Yeah, he won season when he wasn't any good. But I remember you showed me the stat when I was like, oh, Gase is good. They went to the playoffs 2016. You showed me the stat of the combined record the teams they beat that year were 26, 45, and 1. That team didn't deserve to be in the playoffs. I mean, they made it. Props to you. But I mean, for as bad as Adam Gates play calling, it just has to go on Ryan Tannehill. When your team is down, and you need someone to step up, like Aaron Rodgers or someone else. Like, you don't have to be Aaron Rodgers, but even Andy Dalton, right? You got to step up and make the plays, and he can't do it. I will call you out on. You said the defense it has no discipline. The defense does have penalties, but to be fair to the defense, they let up as many points as the offense let up this past week. Right, like the defense was the only reason they won the game in New York. They had to hold off the whole second half because the offense did absolutely nothing. Right, so I don't think it's fair to the defense. The Dolphins are number one in takeaways, and yet we've lost the last two games because of how bad our quarterback play is and how bad the play calling is. But I am putting it squarely on Ryan Tannehill. Adam Gase deserves some blame, yes, but if I'm answering my question, it's all on Tannehill. get rid of him, cut him. The problem is you can't get rid of him because there's someone behind him. So at the end of this year, I want them to cut him. I want to tank for Tua for the next year. I don't care about. I mean, I like Will Greer, but I don't know how he's going to be because the Big 12 is a joke of a league. I don't want to. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to. I want to cut Ryan Tannehill, have have some terrible quarterback start for us next year, and then tank for Tua. That's my thing. Is it a smart idea to tank for Tua?
Is it smart to tank for Tua? I mean, you're a Bama fan, so you have a slight bias to Tua. But based on what you've had from Jalen Hurts the last 2 years, I mean, you can't argue with what Tua is doing on that team right now.
That's not what I asked you. Would you, if you were a professional football team that does not have a quarterback, would you tank for Tua next year? Assuming he stays on this pace where he doesn't even play in the fourth quarter because he destroyed teams so bad. Assuming that he looks this good for the next year and a half, do you tank for Tua next year?
100%, absolutely.
100%. Okay.
There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, the moment I even saw him in that championship game where he came in relief of Jalen Hurts, I just saw potential in this guy. I mean, there were a bunch of rookie mistakes he made, even the play before he threw the game-winning touchdown. But Tua just has a gift of where he can use his legs for good, where most college quarterbacks use their legs just to run.
You sound like you're talking about Star Wars there. You can use your ability for good, Tua. You were the chosen one. Okay. How about this? If you were the Bengals, right, and I could guarantee you next year they can win the Super Bowl with Andy Dalton, but that means they're stuck with Andy Dalton for the next 10 years, or they can lose and they never win a Super Bowl. What do you get? They lose and they get Tua. What would you say? Would you take the Super Bowl or would you take Tua?
Does Marvin Lewis get fired finally?
I think Marvin Lewis has the best job security of anyone in the country. So
he could just have one good year, and he has a 3-year contract. It's like automatically given. Like they might not publicly say it, but they'd probably give him like a 3-year deal on the side.
So what would you do? I'm taking Tua. I think the opportunity to have the quarterback like that, especially in a rookie year for the first 5 years, gives you such a chance to win. And I think Tua's going to be great, right? So I think, assuming he stays on this pace, I would take Tua. But even that is not a sure bet, right? You would think that the Packers would be in more Super Bowls with Aaron Rodgers than they've been in, right? So it's kind of like the NFL's hard, man. It's hard.
I mean, he's the argument when Andrew Luck came in the league, and it's the Colts' decision. Which could they keep Peyton Manning for a few more years, or do they want the quarterback of the future of Andrew Luck? And
yeah, that was a rough decision.
I know Manning ended up getting a Super Bowl with the Broncos, and Luck's been injured for a good portion of his career, and the Colts have been trouble getting out of the basement cellar in the AFC South. But I'd still go with Luck in that situation.
Okay.
And I would definitely go with Tua going forward if I was.
So you would not take the Super Bowl. You would take the quarterback.
If Ryan Tannehill won the Super Bowl for me, I would be the most pissed Dolphins fan in society.
Now you know how good the team would have to be for that to happen. But regardless of that,
the defense has to be elite.
So you take Tua over the Super Bowl. That's what you're telling me.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm not that much of a fan to say something like that.
I am a diehard fan, and I would take Tua too because you always got to be looking to the future. Because the Eagles got it both ways, right? The Eagles got their Super Bowl, but they also got the quarterback of the future. So I think that's the model you need to go with. All right, switching off.
Model of having fun.
Oh yeah,
the Eagles
they suck right now, but fly Eagles fly. But switching off the Dolphins in the NFL. The Conor McGregor Habib fight was last weekend. Adam and I were actually in LA together. We watched it. What did you think of the fight, Adam? What do you think of Conor McGregor? What do you think of Habib Nurmagomedov, whatever his name is? I can't pronounce it. No disrespect, because I don't want him to come beat me up. What did you think of the fight and how everything was? Just the fight. Don't talk about the aftermath. Just the fight.
Right. So as the fight as a whole,
Conor got his ass whooped.
That was pretty evident. It was in terms of if you came unbiased in that fight, that was the first fight you ever watched. I would probably never watch UFC again, based on the fight itself, not any of the aftermath. It was a pretty boring, one-sided fight. Habib was clearly the better fighter in the fight. I don't know how to word that, but Conor looked pretty scared going in. Usually he comes in with a confidence, a swagger.
I wouldn't say scared, but he didn't look the same. Like he didn't look the same arrogant, douchebag that he normally looks like when he walk into a fight, right? Like that's what I that actually Adam can tell you. As soon as I saw him, I was like, he doesn't look the same how he normally does. He didn't look scared, but he didn't look ultra confident like he normally does, or cocky is the right word.
And that showed once the bell rang because Khabib took him to the ground early, kept him on the ground for most of the first round.
And the
Connor
second
was,
round,
and the second round, and
and the
even in the
fourth
third
round,
round.
the third round he
Even
got
in the
away.
third round, he was willing to fight Connor's game, and Connor still couldn't do anything. He was that worn by that point that Connor had nothing left in the tank.
Well, there
That
was I've you've never seen someone who has that good of a ground game as a Habib. Like he just gets you on the ground. And it's like, what are you supposed to do? And I don't know if the perfect counter to that is getting someone that can grapple as good as him, or if it is a Connor type, like striker. I don't know what's the counter to that. You thought it would be Connor, but Habib was so good at just going in for a takedown. And he even stung Connor with that right hand in the second round that got him on the ground. So, but also to be, I mean, not to be fair to Connor, but he was out of UFC for 2 years, right? But I don't think you can use that as an excuse when you sign up for the fight. So,
does he deserve a rematch?
does he deserve one? I mean, he was what, the first person to ever hold two titles in two different weight classes. So yeah, he deserves it. Will he get it? Of course he'll get it. They're gonna sell a ton of pay-per-views for it. Um, I, I, I the problem without giving him a rematch is he is the most entertaining person in sports. I think he's more of a draw than Tiger Woods. Um, because Tiger Woods, everyone's like he's like the comeback feel good story now. You either love Conor or you hate Conor, right? On like an ultra scale. And the one thing the UFC is still that the NFL no longer is it is a man's sport. Like you are going in there knowing you're getting the hell beaten out of you and you're gonna beat the hell out of somebody, and people still love to watch that. People still love to watch people just get destroyed. And Connor is just the type of guy that you see on Twitter, oh man, stupid Connor, I'm so happy he got his ass kicked, or that was bull crap, like that's just Connor McGregor, and everyone pays attention to it, and not to mention he's the best trash talker we currently have in sports. Like there is nobody better than Conor McGregor at trash talking, right? So, and I like humble
If
guys,
he,
but I love his trash talk.
I mean, is there anyone else that could give a better promo than him?
No, you
He
can't.
he
But
sells he sells the fight. The fight could be the worst fight in UFC history, but the build up to it, he just kills it. Like
well, you
there's
you
no
also
one who could do that better.
if you put him on a card, right, and you surveyed everyone that bought the pay per view, how many people you think would buy a pay per view just because of Conor McGregor? I guarantee you it's probably half. I guarantee you half the people that buy pay per view is probably because of Conor McGregor. And Habib was a much better fighter than him on Saturday, destroyed him, but no one really cares to hear about a quiet Russian guy that just takes care of business, right? He's just kind of like, at least with Floyd, Money Merriweather, everyone hates him, right? So everyone watches because they hope he gets beat. But Habib, you don't hate the guy, right? He just does his job. He's respectful. He destroys you, and then it's kind of over.
Oh, I can't say respectful anymore.
Yeah, I don't care to talk about all this stuff outside the ring. The UFC loves that. They put the face on it. I loved it. I think everyone loves it. The only one that doesn't love it is the Nevada State Commission, right? They have to act like they don't care about it, but they're gonna they'll let them fight again because all that money. They don't turn down money. They'll slap them on the wrist, take some of their purse money, and then they'll let them fight again, right? So, uh, the one thing I have a question with Connor is how much longer is he going to do this? He's 30 years old. He's made umpteen million, hundreds of millions of dollars. How much more does he really? He's just fighting for pride at this point, right? To stay in the spotlight. So I'm just waiting for him to move over to WWE because everyone would love him in that.
Oh, I'd love him to give a great promo. I mean, I watched WWE for many years. I know you're not a big fan of it,
I hate it.
but just to see him deliver a promo, like I wouldn't even care about the match itself.
Would
If he
you
fought Brock Lesnar or
would you
something?
would you watch fake football if you knew the outcome was like would you if you knew the outcome was determined, would you watch fake football?
Well, I wouldn't know the results, so yeah,
Even though it's rigged.
why not?
Okay, yeah. See, that's ridiculous. I can't do that. I hate that. It's
You
ugh.
don't know who's going to win unless someone spoils the thing on Twitter or something.
Yeah, but then it's not real. You know that they're just that someone's doing. Ugh, I
How do
hate
you know
that.
no any sport isn't rigged right now?
You're right,
It could be
but
already rigged.
football's be incredibly hard to rig unless you bribe the quarterback, unless you bribe the whole team, right? So football's incredibly hard to rig. The sports that are easy to rig are like golf and tennis, like one person sports. But Football's too hard to rig. Maybe you could rig basketball, and that'd be still hard, and baseball would be
I
way
mean, they
too.
had the gambling scandal several years back
Yeah,
with the referee.
yeah, but that was refs. I mean that's kind of blatant, but I don't know. So, do you want to see a rematch with Connor and Habib?
Do I want to see rematch? Based on the fight I saw, I don't. I mean, anytime you get a sequel, why not? But based on the fight I saw, it's going to take a long time for McGregor to learn how to grapple. Obviously, grappling isn't his style. He's more of a knockout artist, counter puncher.
Okay,
Where
but
once you get him on
but
the ground, you can't. He's
okay.
not he's not good enough right now. It
Let me ask
takes
you.
time to develop that.
Yeah, it's fun. That's all great and dandy. Let me ask you a question though. If they put the next card up and it's Habib versus Tony Ferguson, will you care to watch that fight?
No,
Okay. Would regular America care to watch that fight?
no,
If you put Conor McGregor up there, does everyone turn into watch that fight?
no. Of course not. Yeah, they would.
Yeah, of course. Everyone's gonna watch. It's just cause who he is. You know, it's just because of who he is. So
I
we
mean,
love.
you got that same argument with like an NFL team. If Aaron Rodgers is out, are you still going to watch the Green Bay Packers play?
No, but the NFL is much more about team, right? That normally your alliance is to a team, right? People that were fans of Brett Favre, that were Packers fans, still like the Packers after he left, before everyone knew who Aaron Rodgers was. Uh, it's not the same with MMA or a single person sport where you watch for the person, especially MMA. Now that their whole kind of fight model is big personalities. So that's just the way they've gone. I don't argue with it because Conor McGregor has single-handedly like raised the UFC to a level that I don't think it's ever been at before. And the one thing that separates him is the fact that he can like the Diaz fight showed it. He can get knocked out, he can lose, and he can come back and fight that guy again and win. Right, so he has like the fighter's heart for all the crap he talks. So,
Yeah,
but
but can UFC survive without Conor McGregor? Let's say he pulls a Ronda Rousey and just leaves the sport forever.
survive, yeah, it can survive. Will it be as popular? No, it will be sorely missing that superstar again. It'll be sore. Like they were going to try so hard to find another Conor McGregor because he was still a bigger draw than Ronda Rousey was. They're going to try so hard to find another superstar, and Habib, for how great and amazing of a fighter he is, he's not that. He's not a guy that wants to go out there and promote and talk crap. He's very respectful, and he's not about that. You know, so it's just also people don't like watching someone lay on the ground punching someone for 3 rounds. It's not entertaining. It's like
No.
it was just like, gosh, it's not very fun. I mean, it's a great skill, but it's just not very fun to watch. But we got some NFL games coming up this week. Quickly, who you got? Eagles at Giants?
Last one.
Huh?
I have the Giants.
Giants. Bucks at Falcons.
Falcons in a higher scoring game.
Falcons.
I don't trust Jameis Winston.
Bears at Dolphins. Here we go.
I think the real question is there is how many sacks Khalil Mack gets on Jawan James.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take the Chiefs to beat the Patriots just because the Chiefs are the regular season Warriors, and I can just when I say Warriors, I don't mean the Golden State Warriors. I just mean they just run through everybody in the regular season because that's just who Andy Reid is. But when it comes playoff times, they're probably like the one team you never bet on. I hate the Chiefs. I wish the Chiefs would go away and never come back again. I wish the Chiefs would pack up and leave, and then I'd never have to see them again ever. What do you think of the Kansas City Chiefs?
I mean, Patrick Mahomes finally came down to earth last week. I know they still blew up Jacksonville anyway, but he finally looked a little human. Defensively, I'm concerned about the Chiefs. Obviously, they've always been more focused on the offense than the defense, even with when they had Marcus Peters, even Eric Berry healthy in the lineup. They always rank statistically towards the bottom of the league in terms of defense.
Yeah.
But like you said, once it comes playoff time, how much can you trust
Yeah,
Andy
and
Reid?
any Chiefs fan I hear talk, I don't want to hear them. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to hear anything on the Kansas City Chiefs until they win a game in the playoffs. That's it. That's all. Same with the Bengals. I don't want to hear about how great the Bengals are until they win a game in the playoffs. Don't talk to me. And everyone that was crying that New England, the sky was falling when they lost to Detroit, forgot that this happens every single September. And look, we're in October now. They're leading the division again, and they're going to win the AFC. Well, maybe not win the AFC, but they'll make the AFC Championship game again. And voila. Um,
How do you feel? Are they starting to come back? I mean, I played Indianapolis, who is not exactly the biggest of competition, but
Wait, what do
they
you mean?
did get a win and looked better offensively. New
Oh yeah,
England.
they're gonna be fine. They're the Patriots again. I think this is Tom Brady's last year in the NFL. I think he's gonna take a nosedive towards not a nosedive, but he's gonna start falling off the end of this year. And if he plays next year, it's just gonna be a straight nosedive. I think it's gonna be
His
over.
interception rate's been up.
Yeah, I think. Well, that's because his ball hangs in the air. We've known that for the last year and a half. You can tell his ball just hangs. So I think it's over for him next year. But I think they're gonna make the AFC Championship game again this year, and maybe the Super Bowl. I don't know. I think we have to wait to see how the playoffs play out. I hate Tom Brady. I hate the Patriots. I wish they'd just go away and never come back. But at the same time, you learn to hate dynasties, right? If the Patriots are in the Super Bowl, I know I'm always rooting for the NFC team, right? When it was like, who was the team? When it was the most boring Super Bowl I can think of, besides that terrible Seattle Denver Super Bowl, the most boring like rooting for me was the Ravens 49ers Super Bowl because I didn't care about
Oh,
either team, and I was like, at least when the Patriots are there, I hate them so much I root for the other team. So it's like when the Ravens and 49ers were playing, I was like, man, I don't really like either of these teams. So I'll miss the Patriots. I'll miss hating the Patriots. I won't miss the Patriots. I'll miss hating them when they're not as good when Belichick finally leaves. But yeah, they're fine. I
bold
know
prediction.
what.
Bold prediction. Who's the starting quarterback once Tom Brady retires?
I don't think he's on the roster.
No, I'm saying who replaces him?
I don't think he's on
Bold
the
prediction.
roster.
Oh, he's not. I mean, the only quarterback's Brian Hoyer. I mean,
I think they're going to draft a quarterback this year, in the draft, like this coming year, and then he'll be the starter. Whoever that happens to be, or they'll tank for Tua next year, and then the NFL will be screwed again for the next 20 years.
would you
Um,
hate Tua?
yes, I would. So that's what I think will happen. I think the Patriots are fine. I never understood anyone freaking out about them. How about our boy Dak Prescott, man, who I always said was never any good, and now everyone's like, well, maybe he's not that good.
Why don't you ask Skip Bayless how good he is?
Skip Bayless is an idiot when it comes to the Cowboys. I mean, just the fact that he had one good year with rookie year because everyone was so scared of Zeke Elliott that they played off and gave him those easy throws. Now everyone's like, hey, maybe if we play up on his receivers and stack the box, he can't throw deep. And guess what? He can't. He can't throw deep. And it's like, wow, why does it take offensive coordinators so long to figure that out? It's beyond me. It's very, very, very beyond me.
But Ian, he doesn't have any receivers.
Oh my gosh. He
He has
has an
Jeff Swain.
I can't stand that argument. They're good enough to be playing in the NFL. They're one of the top 1% in the world of people that play the receiver position. Don't give me this BS that they can't play. Quarterback's got to throw people open. It's just part of the game. Aaron Rodgers does it. Tom Brady does it. Drew Brees, well, not against the Redskins because the Redskins decide not to cover anybody on Monday night. But,
Nope.
Ryan Tannehill doesn't do it. Matt Ryan used to do it. Cam Newton sometimes does it. Eli Manning does it in the playoffs. So it's just,
If he can get there.
it just depends on how that works. So, but yeah, Dak Prescott I think is garbage. I don't understand why everyone thought he was so great his first year because he was playing against defenses that were scared of Zeke Elliott, so they were going to not let they weren't going to lose any home run balls, and they gave everything short. Now he doesn't have everything short, and now he's not a very good quarterback.
Would you have gone for it on fourth down at the 42-yard line?
My position is my position on fourth down is if it's 4th and 1 from anywhere, right? If it's 4th and 1 from anywhere, and you don't go for it, you're saying you don't deserve to win the game. Because if it's 4th and a yard and you're saying I can't get that, why? Well, you don't deserve to win that game. It's 1 yard. So I'm like 95% of the time I will go for it on fourth down.
What play
95%.
call would you have had on that play on 4th and 1?
I don't like running it just straight up the gut because I think it's too easy to stop. I would have some type of rollout with an option to run and a couple of options to pass.
Would
Um,
you run the read option in that play?
no.
Not
I,
that I'm a fan of the read option,
I
but with Dak, I mean that's where he's probably most effective.
I don't like running the read option. If the defensive end does his job, the read option's screwed, right? Or if you bring a corner blitz and the cornerback goes up to the quarterback, your read option's done. So I wouldn't run a read option there.
Hey,
But
if Tannehill can run it, then Prescott should be able
oh
to.
my gosh, I don't want to talk about Ryan Tannehill anymore. It's just gonna make me mad as I wear my dolphin sweatpants right now. It's gonna make me mad to talk about stupid Ryan Tannehill. I hope he gets fired from his job. Ugh. Ugh.
Oh, we'll just fire him and Gase.
You know, Adam Gase is like he's
A
like that.
cancer.
He's like okay, wow. Let's bring it down a level. Adam Gase is like that pretty girl you see in school, and you're like, man, she's hot. And you start going over to her, you start talking to her, like, man, she's really cool. And you go on like the first date with her, it's great. The second date is great. You're like, oh man, this could go somewhere. And then she starts like lying and telling all these, and she's not stops going out with you. She tells you all these excuses, and she's like a jerk now. And she's just like, oh, it's because my sister is a jerk to me or something. I'm upset, blah blah. And it comes with all these excuses, right? And you're just and for her behavior, and she's not acting how she's supposed to act. She acts like, she said she at first was this really nice girl. Now she's just a jerk and mean all the time. You're like, what happened to you? And you find out that's how they were all the time. They just had like a period where they were acting to be nice, right? And they were like they looked good, but once you got to know them, they were really ugly. And that's how Adam Gase is. He's just like that pretty girl you see, and you think, oh, she's really nice and pretty, and then you get to know her, and you're like, man, this is a mistake, and you need to get out as soon as possible. But some people are still like, man, I still remember that pretty girl I dated at first, the nice one. That's what I remember, and she can come back to that, right? Nah, fam. Once you see
No,
that, once you see that side, it's over. It's over. Just take the L and leave. But a lot of teams don't do that, and I wish they would, but why, Adam Case? Why? Okay, Adam. What is something? It doesn't have to be sports related. It can be anything you want. What is something you liked or loved in the past, or something you loved in the past week in your life,
I mean,
whatever?
our trip to LA was fantastic. We went to Six Flags, Magic Mountain in LA, and X2 is probably the most incredible ride I've ever been on. Went on it 3 times, and oh, I just want to go back almost. It was just incredible
So you saying L.A. the trip
what I
or six
experienced.
six Six Flags? Which is what you loved?
Well, the majority of our trip was at Six Flags.
It was one
Um,
day.
it was sleeping there, so I mean,
Okay, so Six Flags.
sleeping.
Yeah. So I'll
I
give a shout
mean,
out to Magic Mountain. I'm a roller coaster enthusiast. I love roller coasters with everything I have. It's one of my favorite things to do. I took my 25th birthday. I normally think about people going out and getting drunk. I went to ride roller coasters all day. So uh, I'll give things I love with Six Flags. Six Flags Magic Mountain. I would highly encourage you to go out and do it. Their Fright Fest was pretty cool. We didn't really go into the houses, but riding the coasters at night, just being in the atmosphere, I had a lot of fun with it. Now we'll do things I liked. Things I liked this week. I like the I did like watching the fight, even though it was not the best. So that's something I like to do. I like watching the fight. I like watching Habib work on Connor. I like the atmosphere. I like the excitement. What is something you liked this week, Adam?
I like this weekend, like this past weekend.
This week from last Tuesday to this Tuesday.
I mean, the trip was my week, so that was like the majority of my week.
You gotta say something besides Six Flags.
Something besides Six Flags.
Yeah.
Uh, I enjoyed my flight. I don't know, like I don't
Okay.
mind flying
You're t-
planes. Fine.
okay. All right. Something you didn't like.
Sorry, I'm boring, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Something you didn't like.
I didn't like. Maybe the culture of LA. I'm not gonna trash the culture, but it's just I perfectly don't fit there. It's not really my cup of tea. Like I can't see myself living there.
Okay.
I
I didn't.
felt out of place.
Okay. I did not like Taylor Swift going political. T Swift is my girl. She's been my girl, in my heart forever. And
No,
this
what happened to Margot Robbie, man?
Margot Robbie was later on in life. You know that. But T
Yeah, I do.
Swift, T Swift was like, your first love. Um, and she got political this weekend. I don't like it when celebrities get are political. And she went on Twitter and put out this whole big statement, our Twitter, or Instagram about political who she's voting for and stuff. I didn't like that. She was like the last hope, like the last holdout. Like she's still holding out, and then she caved. And I was like, come on, like why are we in an age today where everyone has to get into politics? Why can't you just, you know, another thing I can't stand is if you're listening to someone, if you're listening to a celebrity, no matter which side of the aisle you're on for your political views, I think that's really stupid, right? So I think everyone should make up their own mind about what they believe in. If you agree with someone, that's cool, but you shouldn't be looking for them and be like, oh, Taylor Swift told me to go vote for this person. I'm going to do it because that's who Taylor Swift's voting for. I think that's a really stupid way to live. All right, something you hated this week. I'll go first. I
Go
hated
ahead.
Ryan Tannehill. I hope
Oh, what a shocker!
I hope I hope he um, gets a non-football like disease that's not harmful at all. That
Wow.
like doesn't hurt. Like, I think that's a little too harsh. I just hope he never plays football again. I hope he decides to retire and say, you know what, this is just too taxing on my body. I can't do it anymore. And I hope he retires and never plays football again.
Something that I hated.
Yep.
The fact that the NBA is getting started up again.
Oof, tell me more.
Can't can't stand the NBA. I'm tired of hearing about LeBron. I'm surprised we didn't see more LeBron stuff while we were in LA. Golly. I'm not excited for the NBA. I used to be a huge Lakers fan. I'll admit that. Big Kobe fan, but
All those
I just
murals,
don't like
all those murals out in L.A. though.
I didn't see any LeBron murals. I know they talk about it, but I didn't see none. But I I just don't like the style of the NBA. I like the old school, just play defense. 90 points was probably a good game, good offensive game back in the day. Rough and tough. You can't just touch someone, you get a foul call. Traveling wasn't as big of an issue. I'm sure there was times that players did travel and it wasn't called, but when you get 7 steps now and you don't get called, that's a problem in my mind.
Well,
Uh,
let's just remove that rule from the rule book because it never was called. Or palming. Whoever gets called for palming. You know.
Nobody gets called for palming,
Yeah.
carrying, whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah. So they should
3 seconds. Ugh.
they should
It's
get
just
looked
I
at.
could go on for days about this. I just can't stand the NBA. Uh, it's not the same product it used to be. I mean, you could say that about any sport. It's just not the same as it used to be. But
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason NFL drops off is because of political views. Uh, everybody, if there was no issue politically, everybody would still watch it.
Yeah. Another thing. That's why I didn't like going political. But okay, I think that's gonna do it for our first podcast. It's about 33 minutes. We just want to start your talk and see if anyone wanted to listen. So if you did listen, thanks. I think you can tweet at us. I don't remember what my Twitter handle is, but I'm sure we'll figure out a way to get it out there. So I think this will be on iTunes. I think it's also going to be on YouTube. So if it's on YouTube, like the video, subscribe. If it's on iTunes, please subscribe. And then just, tell us if you like it, or if you want to ask us a question. It's not like we have people listening right now. So, but yeah, this is just going to be kind of like whatever we want to talk about. Maybe some episodes we won't even, or podcasts we won't even talk about football. But this is what we're doing, and I hope you guys like it. I don't know if there's anything you want to say, Adam.
Stay hard.
Stay hard.
Stay hard.
What is that supposed to mean?
I don't know. It's just something Will Kane says all the time.
Stay hard sounds like very sexual.
It's
Um,
not.
if I have anything to say, it would be fire Ryan Tannehill. So, use that hashtag fire Ryan Tannehill.